Content warning. This podcast contains bones, blood, smut, and swear words.
Before we get into the good shit this week, we wanted to remind you that we have a Patreon. For just $1 or $2 an episode, you get extended games, brand new content, access to our notes and murder boards, and much more. So if you would like to contribute to our fund to buy wall-size bulletin boards for Hannah's murder room. Murder room?
Yeah.
That's a choice.
You have a murder room?
You can head to patreon.com/frontlinefifth or follow the link in the show notes. Okay, now back to that sweet, sweet bone zone action.
Wait. One last thing before we head into the Bone Zone. Bong. We're getting dangerously close to the end of Nona the Ninth. So if you have suggestions for what books, TV shows, movies we should talk about during the electro pause, please email us at frontlinefifth@gmail.com. And let's all pray that Tamsin is no Patrick Rothfuss?
She is not.
Amen.
Yep. Okay. Now, sweet. I've read both those books. I still don't know how to say his last name consistently. Okay. Now, back to that sweet, sweet Bone Zone action.
Wait, one more thing. We need to hear from Judith Deuteros' number one defender.
Oh, yes.
He only gave us 4 stars. You did not follow the instructions of if you didn't like the podcast, you lie. But we can forgive you because you do have a good reason of, thinking that our persecution of Judith Deuteros,
is
dropped
unfounded.
Us down a star.
It's getting
It's unfounded.
Guts to stand up for this person.
Dude, I was obsessed with this comment. Judith Deuteros is number one defender. You literally have changed my mind on Judith Deuteros, because if anyone has that loyalty, I was like, damn, I really may have underestimated this person. So please do me a favor, send us a mailing address. I would love to send you stickers.
Yeah.
And then once you get those stickers, upgrade it to 5 stars, please. All right?
No shame.
We are bribing. Yes.
4 stars is fine. I just was delighted by that comment.
Yeah.
Act 1. Welcome, penitents. Hello and welcome to the Frontline Fifth, a Locked Tomb podcast where a couple of delightfully naive teacher's aides explore the Locked Tomb series for the first time, while a couple of dried out bone witches cackle over how little they really know. We're currently reading Nona the Ninth by Tamsin Muir, and this week we are kissing corpses in chapters 24 and 25. I am your host, fully alive and not dead at all, Ninth House denizen Hannah, and I'm joined today by fellow non-corpse Marie. Marie, do your speed holes make you go fast? Just kidding. Marie, in this week's chapters, Gideon aces the shit out of playing possum. Have you ever hardcore pretended to be something that you're not, and how long were you able to keep it up?
I've been pretending for 20 plus years that I'm a functioning adult, so.
Stole my answer.
I guess that counts. That counts, yeah. There we go. Also with us today are those sweet little buds of youth that we forced to walk into entropy fields in front of us, Brooke and John. So Brooke, John, what's the longest you've ever kept up a ruse? A ruse.
I really like Marie's answer. I think that's about right. I guess I could add a level to that. Every time I was on a dairy farm, especially in the Midwest,
Mm-hmm.
I would absolutely let them think I was a good Christian girl.
Fair enough.
There we go.
Yep. You just have this aesthetic that would make it so easy to lean into that. I feel like that would be so easily assumed. And you could then drop an F-bomb on them and really destroy someone's world in the best way.
No, I don't destroy the ruse. I did sales.
Commit to the bit. What about you, John?
I was going to go with, for at least 10 plus years in corporate America, I pretended to be a competent employee.
No, you are competent. Your thing is just that you pretended to be normal because you're a closet weirdo. My favorite people are closet weirdos.
I guess the actual one that came out most recently is that I like coconut things, but I never ate coconut things growing up all that much. So my family has very consistently thought that I hate coconut. So when my mother-in-law gets me stuff for Easter, she gets me coconut eggs, like chocolate stuffed coconut eggs. But then when my parents got me Girl Scout cookies the other day because I'm still a small child, apparently.
Everyone loves Girl Scout cookies.
I'm so jealous.
They got me the peanut butter ones, and then they got the coconut ones for my brother. And they were like, oh, John, you don't like these. And I was like, no, those are my favorite. I love the coconut ones are my favorite ones. Yeah.
They are the best ones.
And they were like absolutely shocked. They couldn't believe it.
They were like, we've been lied to for all this time. Do I even know you, my child?
Minor ruse, too.
It's not even a ruse. I like coconut.
I think it's a cell phone.
Yeah, agreed. I feel like you've just been missing out on coconut this whole time. Your parents could have been giving you coconut. Yeah, yep. Mine is really dumb and bad, and I apologize immediately to all of our listeners in the UK, but I definitely, in my early 20s, every time I would go out to a bar, would be British for the night. And it actually, the thing that you don't understand if you're actually from the UK is like, I do not have a good British accent, but you do not need a good British accent because Americans are fucking idiots. You can, like, it was remarkable how many people I could effectively lie to over the course of a night. And it really was a joy to be someone else for a little while. Yeah.
You theater kid.
Yep. All right, I know that this week's chapters are a little thin on plot, but is there anything intriguing that you would like to highlight?
Intriguing?
I would like to throw out that we can add last week to the Mount Rushmore of We Almost Had It.
Yes!
You got a good portion of it, and I was like super doubtful of it.
We were so close.
Do you want to mention that, because this is my favorite part of these chapters, John, is you being like, okay, now I know why Marie was fucking smirking.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I read the chapters immediately after, so I'm not sure if you guys were still recording, but yes. 3 pages in, I was thinking that other people would jump into the bodies. Nope, it's just fucking Pal. So when I was being an idiot and basically throwing out every single person that could jump into the bodies besides Pal, which in retrospect
and also
is
saying
incredibly...
like, it couldn't possibly be Pal.
No,
like, why would... Can you imagine? I think it was maybe Brooke.
So
can
offensive.
you imagine Pal in Babs's body? And I'm just like, can you imagine?
Yeah, Marie's just sitting there smirking. Yep. Motherfucker.
Wow.
As always, you impress the crap out of us. We should be throwing you parties absolutely every week.
We didn't even land it. We got close.
Your idea of just like soul swapping going on like all over the place is it was halfway there. We had a little bit of soul swapping. I feel like these chapters, like we'll get into this more in the rampant speculation. But like I feel like this made me revisit entirely kind of like what happened in between Harrow the Ninth and Nona the Ninth. Like this like changed the way that I had to interpret this, and like now. I guess it gave us some little more information to work with, John. So, like, there's that, but, like, still don't actually have an answer out of it.
Wait, so, not speculation, but do we think Pal trapped Ianthe in a river bubble, basically? Like, do we think that's what ended up happening? Like, Pal is becoming my, like, resident river bubble person, and, like, also just, like, spirit shenanigans.
Maybe. I fucking loved that, like, when Pyrrha realizes it's Pal in that body, she just looks at him and goes, you fucking legend.
That is a great moment. That is why it is the title of today's episode. It's so good.
Us, we're kind of, I mean, to us, it's kind of a little bit like, okay, we think Pal's pretty cool, but we have no idea what, like, necromancy is capable of. And so a lictor coming by and being like, you fucking legend, making that happen. Like, you're like, oh, that's a huge compliment.
I can never hear the phrase "you fucking legend" without it being like with a British or Australian accent. Like no American's like "you fucking legend." No, it's like "you fucking I can't do it. It's gonna sound.
Yeah. Don't
We're
try.
Just not cool enough. We're not cool enough.
Hannah try.
Which is a bad idea.
Embarrassing.
This is a weird one, but it just felt really relatable to me. There's this huge period of time where Nona is just kind of under a bunch of corpses while other things are happening. And what felt relatable about this, I've not been buried under corpses yet. But
waiting to see where that was going.
Growth mindset, that yet at the end of the sentence.
Growth mindset.
But it instead is the kind of thing where I feel like if I were trapped under a pile of corpses, I would have a hard time asking for help. I would be like, excuse me? No, I can wait. It's not a pile of corpses.
It's office space.
Excuse me.
I'm totally convinced that if I were being like, if I was in a scenario at the bottom of a canyon where I needed, to ask for help, I would raise my voice. I would be like, help. Help.
So you'd be playing the penis game. You'd just be slowly...
Pretty much, yeah.
slowly making up.
Slowly accelerating up and up. And the hilarious thing is, like, on this podcast, I feel like I'm really loud. And I'm really loud in social situations, but the second I'm buried under corpses, man, just not great at asking for help. That's
For
me.
our Gen Z listeners, the penis game was a game that was played in millennial high school and middle school where you slowly said the word penis louder and louder until the teacher finally heard you and yelled at you.
I did not know
honest.
about the penis game, but that is probably indicative of where I grew up.
We would play it at the mall. I never played it in class.
Mine was just the enjoyment of listening to their rampant speculation last week and then being like, can't wait for this.
100%. All right, before we move on, we've got some meme watch things.
Yeah. So the first one is Gideon saying, "These are my speed holes. They make me go fast." And that is a reference to Simpsons.
I had no idea.
I've like got a little YouTube clip for you. I don't know. It's like Krusty the Clown or whatever. Maybe it's not Krusty. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on.
It is Krusty the Clown. Yeah.
If you watch the clip, there's a couple of guys who are trying to put it like a hit out or like they're shooting at them. And so I think maybe there were like bullets. I don't know the context. I'm not going to try and explain the context.
But it's from The Simpsons.
But it's from The Simpsons.
Speed holes, they make me go fast. So with that, go ahead and pull the sword out your gut. Try to staunch the blood flow as we present Nona the Ninth, episode 15. You fucking legend. Act 2. Gideon, version 2.
This section of Frontline Fifth is safe for anyone who hasn't read past chapter 25 in Nona the Ninth.
Let's recap. Chapter 24, Gideon's skull/sunglasses skull. Chapter 24, Gideon's skull/sunglasses skull. Palamides is a fucking legend. Nona kisses a dead girl. Gideon Nav lives?
Chapter 25. Partially broken Gideon skull. The saddest girl in the whole entire world.
Well, fam, the duel between Ianthe and Camilla ends with Camilla skewered through the middle like a kebab with just one thing on it.
The saddest type of kebab.
I totally missed that. Is that a statement they said?
Yep. Yes. But things have really not gone all Ianthe's way, not gone as planned. So the body of Nibirius Turn tumbles forward, and when it sits up, it is inhabited not by Ianthe and not by anyone else in the room, but instead by Palamides.
The fucking legend.
I mean, basically, they needed to get close enough to touch the body, and Palamides hopped over and ousted, Ianthe.
I wonder if this is a meme too, but I don't know how much Tamsin ever read Wheel of Time. But this is like a meme or a theme in Wheel of Time is that you have to know when to, quote unquote, sheathe the sword, which is like basically allow your enemy to skewer you in order to kill them.
Interesting.
Lose the battle to win the war?
Yes.
That's the energy. Huh. Initially, Camilla cannot bear to look, and I would like your take on which would be harder. To have no ability to look at the person that you love and communicate exclusively through recording on your tape recorder, or to look at the person you love in the body of Nibirius Turn with his lips.
Second is
You
harder.
still think? Okay.
I get her hesitation.
So Palamides says from the dead body of Babs, I died and you carried me. I gambled and you covered my bet. You kept the faith. And now I have fought through time and the river and Ianthe the First. Will you not look at me now, Cam, and know me?
More alarm bells.
Why?
More use of the word time. There's always something with time in this series, and we don't know what the fuck it is.
Fought through time is a particularly interesting one here, I think. Yeah. And Cam says, Warden, I will always know you, which is a moment that hurts my heart.
I feel like this is also resident Catholic.
Thank you. Okay, because it has like, I want you to talk about this because it has like very religious text vibes.
Well,
which doesn't fit normally how they talk.
The theme of after the resurrection, the theme of Christ coming back is that you don't recognize him until he reveals himself. Like those are like the first things of people being like, oh, he's back, is like literally I think there's one, I might get this wrong, and then anybody who was previously religious or knows anything about this or is still religious will be like, she's got it wrong. But I think there's like the road to Emmaus, right? It was like you have these people walking along and they're talking about what just happened, and somebody comes up to them and is like, oh, like, tell me about what happened. And they're telling him. And then at the very end, they're like, oh my gosh, it's you, right? So it's like the reveal. And I feel like this, will you not look at me now and know me, is like part of it. Like, it feels very much like that to me.
It sounds like it might be like verbatim from a Bible thing,
I tried to look it up, and I don't think it is. There is, the only thing, like, because again, Google, like, I didn't search that hard, but like, there is also like a psalm that is basically saying like, God knows you before you were born, kind of a thing.
But yeah, the language of knowing me, like, isn't that something that there's constantly used? Like, I've been to enough masses that I feel like that's language I've heard used.
It definitely
feels.
It feels right. It sounds right.
Christ is back. No way. Yahweh.
Oh God. Oh my God. All right. Well, so here's the deal. We're having this like emotional moment, but the reality is that Cam is like horrifically wounded. I mean, literally had a sword all the way through her. There's a part where Crown is like holding the other end in some fabric to like stabilize it. You know, so she will live for now. Pal can't do necromancy in this body. So we're kind of back on the clock.
That's so wild, right?
What's wild?
It's a necromancer's... Oh, wait, no. Never mind. Just not a necromancer's body.
To be fair, I don't know why he can't do necromancy in this body. And I really don't know. And I think it must be something about like letting Ianthe back in as opposed to being something about not being able to do it. But I had no idea. The point is, we're doing kind of like field triage on Cam. We've got to find Gideon Nav's body, get the 6th House delegation, get the fuck out of there.
Can we talk about Pal real quick? Pal is the only person that we've seen that has killed 2 lictors. Or like almost killed 2 lictors. Like, or I guess...
Or has battled.
Grievously wounded.
Battled and bested in some way.
Yeah, battled and bested 2 lictors. Like, it's...
Are you trying to tell me he's the greatest? Thank you.
I'm just saying, if you're investing in as Pal as the greatest necromancer of the generation, Pal stock's going way up after this.
It is a little bit ironic that in this room full of persecuted zombies, not a single one can do necromancy.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. That this is actually like, this is like the least necromantic book, but it also has some like big instances of necromancy where they really crush it, only in weird ways. And actually, this is sort of feels like necromancy to me, but it's not. It's Pal's like psychometry, right? Because Babs's body touched the body of Gideon Nav, Palamides knows generally where it's stashed, which is to say knows almost exactly where it's stashed. Pyrrha's like, too much information, say less. Pyrrha and Nona head off to find it. Nona is not feeling great. Rita's almost dead, but she still has the most outlandishly impressive regeneration powers of anyone on hand. And so when they come to this hallway that Ianthe has decorated with blood wards powering kind of a knockoff version of Mercy's entropy trap, the fastest way through is to physically shove Nona's hand in until the wards burn themselves out. It is fucking gruesome.
This is crazy.
So gross.
This is one of the grossest, but also one of my favorite passages of like the series. Just in terms of, this feels like a rule of cool Dungeons and Dragons like way to solve a puzzle, right? Like where it's just like the DM had like this elaborate thing all set up, and it's like a huge trap dungeon, and you just have like, yep, I'm using my basic I stick a hand in the trap, and it just
until it explodes.
Everything.
Yeah.
I love this.
It was pretty wild. Like her skin is melting off. Her body is trying to like make extra fingers because it's trying to repattern a hand as quickly as it goes away. And Ianthe's wards can't fucking hold up to that shit because blood wards are actually not that powerful. Blood wards burn out. But there's no time to catch their breath. So they go down the hallway, starting to open doors. Pyrrha's opening doors. Nona's opening doors, looking for the dead body that might be Nona.
And at this point, Nona tilts her head and water comes out of her ear.
From her scream, is what they said.
I'm just really annoyed that we didn't catch these connections earlier. The thing that makes the Earth is water. Like that is like the defining characteristic of Earth as a planet, is that it is water.
Totally true.
Liquid water.
Yeah, liquid water. And so the fact that Nona is just, she's, again, we haven't gotten 100% confirmation, but I think we're like as close as we can get to like Nona being the missing RB/Electo/ the spirit of Earth.
Yeah, and further kind of evidence for John's theory there comes from what happens next, right? They had all thought that basically if Nona got close to Gideon's body, if it was Gideon's soul in her, it would kind of snap back in.
Which we had evidence for, remember? Like the two-handed sword stance while she's like in the hallway, like the occasional remarks that were super Gideon. I don't know.
Counting ass jokes.
Just can't wait. I just can't wait to talk this. I'm like so excited for the break between Nona and Electo where we all get to actually be on the same level and talk about these things. Because like I have things I want to say to you, Brooke. Okay, here we go. It's Nona that finds the body. She opens the door. It's a normal bedroom and she finds stretched out on the bed the girl from her dream. The body of Gideon Nav. She's dressed in a beautiful white uniform, and Nona's a little disappointed because she's not beautiful. She has dead person skin and bright red hair, and Nona doesn't want to have to go from being so lovely as she was to being so redheaded because Nona's a ginger bigot.
Nona's a bigot.
Yeah. When Nona reaches out to touch the corpse, it does something unexpected. Well, actually, let me ask you, Brooke and John, did you expect Gideon's corpse to be functional, alive, like
nope.
Not in a million years would we have ever.
Nope. I thought that corpse was as dead as it was and as yet unsent.
Yep.
But it's not. It opens its eyes and it looks right at Nona's, and it has Nona's eyes, those golden wild eyes. So the corpse looked at her in such mute, helpless appeal, spoke to her in her first language, that Nona did not have time to think about what she did next. She leant down and laid a kiss right on that cool, dead, crooked mouth.
God, so there are so many instances in this chapter. Sorry, I'm going right, just completely skipping over the kissing corpses thing, by the way. But there's so many occasions when, like, people are about to say something and they get cut off, or we just don't even know what they said. In this chapter, it's driving me nuts. There's so many things that we could be learning.
Can I point out another thing where Tamsin is such a fucking troll?
Please.
For any griddle harkers.
Okay, got it.
Okay, understood.
They finally kiss. Their bodies kiss.
Yeah, it's actually a really
It's not
weird
actually
moment.
Gideon, really. It's Gideon's soul attached to her dead fucking body. And it's Harrow's body, but we don't know who's in it.
Yep.
Certainly not Harrow.
And that's they finally, like, you have the pool scene in, like, Gideon the Ninth, and you're just like, oh, like, these two. And then they finally kiss, and this is how they do it? Like, fuck you, Tamsin.
Yeah, no, that is solid trolling. So for me, this also is a bit of a meme, right? Like, this is like fairy tales, right? I mean, it's Sleeping Beauty, it's Snow White. This idea of true love's kiss awakening you is kind of fascinating. And you're right, it is true love's kiss, except it's clearly not. Like, having it just be barely off of that image. And so the corpse kind of just looks at her like, what the fuck? Yeah. And so
a sleep as deep as death, but no, it's actually just death.
Just death. Actually, I love that. She wasn't even asleep. She's just dead. Like, yeah. And so Nona basically looks back at her and is like, you just looked like you wanted to be kissed. But Pyrrha comes in before that can turn into a conversation. And by then, Corpse Girl is back to playing dead. Nona tries to tell Pyrrha that the girl's awake, but Pyrrha kind of like dismisses her. She's like, yeah, we got to get back upstairs. Either way, it's very clear that there's been no pneumatic reversion, which means that Nona's soul probably does not belong to Gideon. Back upstairs, it turns out there's going to be no departure on Ianthe's shuttle. That would have been the easy way out, but she has warded it all to hell. She's literally even warded the fuel. If they mess with it, everything's going to go boom. So they're back to their goal of just kind of getting Gideon Nav's body to Blood of Eden. So Pal, in Babs's body, crouches down, tries to take a look at this dead-ass body of his former friend, Gideon Nav. She has a huge wound in her neck and another in the chest.
Do you know where that came from?
Yeah, you do.
She threw herself on the fence spikes.
Yeah, but I think that's the chest one.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm with Brooke on this. I don't understand where the neck one is. And the chest one, which is what I assumed was the throwing herself on a spike, is a purple bloodless puncture wound that checks out with white teeth peeking out coyly from within.
I have to assume this is just a weird way of saying bone.
I was going to say ribs, right? I was going to say it was like weird, like the points of ribs.
Like not legitimate fucking like enamel-coated teeth.
Because if it is,
right?
we need to have a further discussion about like the
because that's a separate thing.
Yeah, we have like the
column.
The demon eye things, the
that are rimmed with teeth. Yes,
the buttholes at the bottom of the river that are just like covered in teeth.
Oh,
right?
stoma.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Whatever it is, I think this is weird. I think we can't account for both of the wounds. It's still, but Pal says that the wounds are in line with like the reported damage. So someone must know what's going on there. And Marie will probably tell me about it later in the spoiler section. In any case, they're going to try and get a blood sample because the real goal of having Gideon's body is to have a blood sample that you can use to get into the locked tomb. But right as he's about to kind of stab the needle in, Gideon's body reaches up and snaps around his wrist, stopping him. She is awake. Ha 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 ha.
Well, she also tells him,
if that's how you get a girl's pants off, yeah.
No wonder I stole your girl.
Yeah.
Oh, sex pal. Yeah, she was like, sex pal, if this is how you get a girl's pants off, no wonder I stole your girl.
I really love that Palamedes is able to be less shocked than I would be. You know, like he does not react. He's basically like, sup, Gideon. Because this feels like this would be such a chaotic moment to have happen to you.
I think it's probably easier because he's like a spirit in Babs's body at this point. I think probably if we were still at Cannon House, he'd be very shocked, but a lot has happened to him.
There is no normal
anymore. I kind of read it that way too. Is like Ianthe was talking about her emotions are all weird and muted because she's in a different body. And it's like even a body that she's like sort of related to, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Not to mention at this point, I feel like everybody's on board with the idea that death is not fucking final, right? Like Palamedes blows himself up, not dead. Gideon, dead, but not dead, but also dead. Because she is basically a revenant. Jod made a revenant out of his own daughter's corpse. Her soul seems to be back in her dead body, and she is now Prince Kiriona Gaia I, Her Divine Highness, First Lieutenant of the Cohort Emperor's Lifeguards, heir to the Emperor Divine, First of the Tower Princes, and she is mega dead.
I know this is probably not the meaning, but lifeguard always just, again, water, like just saving him if he falls into the river. Like I always think that's just a funny one there.
I like that. I like that a lot.
It's plural? Is it actually plural? Lifeguards? Emperor's Lifeguards, so that's her plus Ianthe, I guess?
Or the cohort is Emperor's Lifeguards? I don't know.
To be fair, Ianthe literally pulled him out of the river like a lifeguard.
Truth. That literally happened. Yeah.
Wait, do we think that he like threw, like basically anchored her? Because Revenants is to like...
Dude, we're going to have to figure this out in the Raven speculation, because this is what... I mean, what we can say as we read through these chapters is that it is a different kind of Gideon than what we're used to. It is a mean Gideon.
It is Kiriona, Prince Kiriona, and she is harsher and more... She just kind of seems like a lot of the fun in life has been drained out of her. It's still sassy quips, but now it's not fun sassy. It's like, it's bitter. It's deeply, deeply bitter. And she knows that they're headed to the Ninth House, and she wants in. She wants them to take her. Realistically, although there's a whole bunch of debate about like her motives, at the end of the day, they're going to have to take her with if they want to get into the tomb. There will be no harvesting of blood samples. Her bones are now denser than titanium. Her skin can turn away bullets. And in any case, her blood is now like warded or whatever so that it burns up outside of her body, turns to ash. And so everybody is kind of like trying to figure this out, trying to figure out what to do next, trying to figure out what the fuck Kiriona wants. But Nona can only focus on one thing. She's never seen anyone so sad in her whole short life.
I mean, okay, so that's wild. So, like, basically, that's insinuating that the Gideon that's in here is, like, very upset about her circumstance. It doesn't necessarily explain why she's acting the way she is. One of the funny things that I think is also worth noting is that, like, she tells Pal at some point, it's like the only time that Pal gets thrown off guard, I think, is when she, like, knows something about necromancy. She goes, I know 5 whole facts about necromancy right now. And, like, it's basically, I think it comes down to that a little bit. Like, suddenly she's not, like, simple, vaguely incompetent, happily naive Gideon. Like, it's like now she, like, knows a lot and has all these superpowers, is, like, very important, and fucking hates it.
Yes.
we know that Harrow still had at least a fraction of Gideon's soul because of the lictor powers. So, like, is this, like, the fraction of the soul that...
I don't know.
It was an imperfect lictorhood, and Harrow still got some of the benefits of being a lictor, but Gideon's soul was still, like, suppressed or, like, slightly...
Yeah.
There's
a lot.
Yeah, like, did God pull
We'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, did God pull Gideon's, like, fraction of the soul out of the river that Harrow didn't take, or, like, left... Like, who the fuck knows?
I think you're right. There's something
Which makes
funny here.
We have to ask whether a soul can be split, whether a soul can be diminished. Like, there's a lot of things there. But for me, this is so, like, this reaction felt so totally obvious to me. The way Prince Kiriona talks feels precisely the way I feel when I'm in my worst depressive episodes. I go echoing, numb, and spiteful. Like, viciously
exactly.
spiteful, because it just is this thing where you feel like the whole world. Yeah. And honestly, most of the spite is towards yourself. You're like, I am despicable and disgusting, and here I am doing things I don't even want to do, and there is no point. Like, there's no way out. I thought that I could save Harrow. I didn't. I thought that my parents were wonderful people. They're trash. You know, like, I feel like Gideon has been pretty solidly beaten down at this point.
This whole thing reminded me of the Super Troopers like thing where it's like, but our shenanigans are cheeky and fun, and his shenanigans are cruel and tragic, which makes them not really shenanigans at all. Evil shenanigans. Like that's kind of what Gideon is now. Like all the
I've never watched Super Troopers, but that's a great line. Yeah. That's a phenomenal line. Anyway, I don't know what to tell you. Dying changes a person. So time for a game. Interstitial, the military wing of disco.
Dibs on bad name. Dibs on bad name. The military wing of disco.
Okay, here's the deal. I love a title, maybe too much, and Prince Kiriona Gaia the First, Her Divine Highness, First Lieutenant of the Cohort, Emperor's Lifeguards, Heir to the Emperor Divine, First of the Tower Princes, is pretty damn solid, but I think we can do better. So this week we're playing a game I call Yes Queen. In this game, we are going to come up with rad as fuck titles for some of our characters in and out of the locked tomb. Brooke, my friend, what formal title shall we bestow upon Nona?
Dog Watcher Prime.
Ooh, good.
Seer of Truth. Former member of Hot Sauce's gang.
This was phenomenal. That's A+, Brooke.
Thank you.
Big win on that. We're really going to have to... I'm not happy I made you go first, is what I'm taking away from that. John, what title are we giving the angel?
Teacher of Tiny Ones and Things. Messenger of Blood of Eden, First Hand to the Secret Dog King Noodle, and then Doctor of Veterinary Medicine.
This is fucking wonderful. Every single part of that was so good. Okay. Marie, what title does Hot Sauce get?
She is gang leader, Hot Sauce, protector of the school, and friend of the angel.
Very good.
Short and sweet.
I'm going to do one for honesty. He is Honesty, little rascal extraordinaire, prince of the smooth lie, drugs at reasonable prices, open Monday through Saturday.
Drugs at reasonable prices, great band name. Like
okay, all right. Brooke, what title can Pyrrha rock?
I think she's the Saint of Vice. Ooh. She's also the Marksman General.
Yes.
And originator of infinite nicknames.
God, very good. Very good. John, do you want to do Pal? Do you want to do Palamides?
Yeah, we have obviously Warden Palamides, Scion of the Sixth House, Haunter of Cavaliers, Bester of Lictors, Sex Pal.
Shit. It's absolutely delightful. Marie, I know you've got Camilla.
Sean's just like, hey, we got them all already.
This is, yeah, for real. Although I liked Haunter of Cavaliers. Yeah, okay, what about Camilla? Tell me.
Camilla does not do titles. She just takes the titles that she actually has and no fluffing. So it's Camilla Hecht, Warden's Hand of the Library, Cavalier Primary.
That is
she
very
Hand
accurate.
Of the Library? Warden's Hand?
She's effectively.
I mean, as Cavalier Primary.
Is that a title we've heard before?
I don't think so.
No, but it does sound right. It does feel correct. And I really like the idea that Camilla is a simple person who stabs you with a knife. She don't need no extra. And of course, Noodle.
Stabber.
Noodle is Noodle, Prince of Dogs in Secret. That's all. So let's move on to some random shit. Brooke, what title are you giving your favorite cheese?
My favorite cheese.
Also,
Wait,
what is your favorite cheese? I mostly
Yeah,
wrote this
yeah.
because I was like, must know.
I didn't go for like any single favorite cheese. I don't particularly choose favorites of much. So I just went with like the idea that felt really good in my head when you asked me to give a title to something that would be considered a favorite cheese. And it was the supreme ooey gooey nutter butter of your dreams. Perfect pickle partner.
Marie's making
I
a
like
face,
a-
and I
I like a good I like a really good
Chef's kiss.
Supreme ooey gooey.
yeah.
That is the part I
Perfect pickle
can't. I
partner.
don't.
I'm all in on perfect pickle
Perfect
partner.
pickle partner, nutter butter of your dreams. Yes.
I like the
Ooey
supreme
gooey.
ooey gooey too. I like that one
No.
too.
I wanted to be a gooey cheese. I wanted to like and it's got to be gooey at room temp. We're not putting this shit in the oven. Nope. This
Are
brie is
you-
this it's definitely like some sort of a triple cream, but it's going to be like one that's got a lot of like savory nut backbone.
She's literally drooling. Like her mouth is getting. I can tell that her mouth is getting wet.
Sounds so good.
Oh God, we gotta
her
move
mouth
past.
is
Move
watering.
past. John, what title does key lime pie ice cream deserve?
Secret king of ice cream.
I want to watch Noodle lick up key lime pie ice cream now. Like, I feel like that would be a beautiful moment until he keeled over. So, Marie, tell us what noble rank we can give your sourdough loaves.
It's not my sourdough loaves, it's my starter. And
excellent.
that is her loftiness, Saoirse the First. Fragrant, bubbly, and active is her name.
That's incredible. That's epic. That is some deep lore behind the sourdough starter, as there should be, because of the complexity that she embodies. Not to mention her own resurrections. So I'll do one for soup dumplings.
She has currently been newly resurrected just this morning.
Active is her name.
Active is her name.
Mine is
Like Kingdom
is-
Bake.
I made soup dumplings, the flawless quintessential comfort food. That's all. So for our last
Wait,
round,
hold on. I didn't even see this one. I didn't do this. Hold on. I have to choose a favorite animal.
yes, for our
already
last
hard.
one, we've made everyone choose a favorite animal and give a title. But while Brooke thinks of her, we'll do the Jeopardy theme. Dee, 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 dee,
Not
dee,
helping.
dee, 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 dee.
I would assume it's cows since Brooke loves cheese. No?
No, absolutely not.
Brooke's like, fuck cows. I don't care that they exhibit
Hold on.
morning
I'm
behavior for other
removing you guys from my
cows.
ears so I can think for a quarter second.
Oh, so we can sing the Jeopardy song.
We could do whatever we want
Ourselves.
here.
Yeah, we can
say-
do whatever we
Oh
want.
God, Brooke's so cute. This is what I do when I have to park. I am a person who has to turn down the music in order to find a parking spot. It's like not physically possible for me to have music on and park.
Do you ever like turn the music up when you can't see something?
No, it's always down. You have does the music boost your stats?
No, just like you're like, oh, I can't see something. Or you're like, and it's just like this instinctive, like, enhance, you know?
Nope, but that's pretty fucking funny. I like that idea a lot. Like turning the volume button, like trying to get the world
Being
to
like, oh, that's not going to help me.
She's back.
I
Brooke.
did a terrible job of this.
Do you want us to leave you for last? I can do mine first.
Sure.
I will do mine first. My favorite animal is the Hawaiian bobtail squid. Please Google it. It is worth your time. And it is the saint of light.
That makes sense.
That's a cool looking squid.
Oh, God.
Oh, it's even better. Explain, Hannah. Explain, because it's also one of my favorites. And when you took that, I was like, fuck you.
The Hawaiian bobtail squid is one of my all-time faves. It has one of the best symbioses in the game. So it has basically bacteria in it, bioluminescent bacteria, Vibrio fischeri. And part of what's cool about this is that Vibrio frequently are like pathogenic. They cause things like cholera in us, but they've got this mutualistic symbiosis with this tiny little squid such that they live in a tiny little squid organ and produce light. So the squid glows, and it glows enough to offset its shadow, which is thought to be part of avoiding predators. It goes out at night, just glowing slightly with no shadow because it has its glowing squid friend. Best friend, saint of light.
This is so cool.
Your turn.
I didn't know these existed.
I guess it's one of those things you learn like in like very.
Oh, I teach it in micro. I absolutely teach it in micro.
It has to be in a micro class probably.
Well, because
Or-
it's cool because it's like quorum sensing, and it's even funnier because of the quorum
And
sensing
it's
is basically
light.
the population has to build up enough so that they will produce light. So then how do you stop the glow in the morning? And they literally like eject most of the population so that they
And
will
didn't
stop
we
producing light, and
Isolate
then
some
it'll
of our
build
first
up.
fluorophores from them.
But that type of bioluminescence, like the Lux Operon, I think is from fireflies and not Vibrio.
What is it, GFP or something?
GFP
No, that's
from
GFP is different
jellyfish,
because
Cnidaria.
fluorescence is different than bioluminescence. Bioluminescence is a chemical reaction that emits a photon of light, so it literally glows. Fluorescence is you shine a wavelength of light on and then you get back out a different wavelength. And so GFP, green fluorescent protein, is from jellyfish. None of that is staying in because nobody gives a fucking, nobody cares.
I care.
think people come for all aspects. Thank you, Professor.
Okay, John, tell us about your favorite animal.
Sun bear, the white whale of bears, the derpiest of bears, anteater by marriage.
I really like anteater by marriage.
Anteater by marriage?
Have you seen, it's got like a 10 to 15 inch long tongue. It eats like termites and other things. It's a bear that's basically an anteater.
I also love that you love this, and it is the derpiest of bears. And have
It
you
is
ever
the
seen
dumbest
it?
looking of bears, objectively. Yes, I've seen it twice now.
Okay.
But it took like 12 visits to the San Diego Zoo to see one.
To see the sun bear. Okay, Marie, what about you?
Mine is the North American possum, which is the saint of death. JK.
Love. Perfect. No notes. Brooke, what you got?
My favorite animal is probably a meerkat.
It's a good one.
And they are just, they are master land watchers and desert totems.
Yes, they are. They have a weird gravitas for a really small, skittery, goober.
I always think they're kind of dumb, but they're not. They just look
they're a
kinda
little dumb.
They just
It's
look
fine.
dumb.
Well, that's all she wrote. So let's dig into some rampant speculation. Act 4. We've all got our secrets. Brooke and John aren't just great at befriending dogs. They are also brilliant conspiracy theorists. So Brooke, John, what the fuck is happening?
It's a very good question. Okay, so we have a situation now where Gideon's soul is in her body, at least some part of it. I mean, we've already kind of like talked about, like, we don't know what form Gideon's soul is. Like, is it like a portion that's been scrounged? I don't know. But this whole scenario suggests to me that Harrow's body, like post-river disaster with the Mithraeum, ended up in God's hands, right?
You think so?
I don't know. To me, this suggests that, like, in order to get Gideon's soul, which was in Harrow's body, he would have to have access to the body. It, like, also, like, sort of, like, kind of reframes maybe, because we have this, like, this random scene right at the end of Harrow where we see the body in the tomb giving, like, CPR or, like, an AED or something to to Harrow's body while Gideon's still in it. Supposedly, it seems like Gideon's consciousness at that point, right? Like, post-river bubble or post-Mithraeum in the river. And, like, now I'm wondering if this is, like, some sort of thing that, like, was related. I don't know how to place that. But to me, now it seems like, because we don't know how we get out of the river. Ianthe saves God. Pyrrha and Gideon are, like, supposedly drowning. And then suddenly, CPR scene, then we're on Neuro. So things happened. And what I get from this is that it looked like God and Harrow's body were maybe in the same place for a while. But then how did they get Gideon's body?
Yeah, we still haven't gotten that part. Like, how does Blood of Eden lose Gideon's body? But I was going to go with maybe God did, like, the summoning ritual that they can do where they lure a soul back to a body, and then he just did God magic and anchored it to Gideon's body as, like, a revenant. It's like the partial soul that was outside of her. Like, I still think there's a part of Gideon's soul somewhere out there, but yeah, he split the soul or took the portion that Harrow split. Just,
yeah,
it's not the full Gideon we know. It's the partial Gideon soul anchored to her body, which is probably why she's super pissed off, right?
I'm inclined to think that it's not a complete soul either, which we can all, like, the four of us talk about later down the line. I guess we can think back to the very beginning of Harrow the Ninth when we first meet God, and he's basically kind of like, once you've kind of, like, done this, like, sort of initiated this merging process, you can't really extract Gideon anymore. Like, basically they had all the pieces of the puzzle, sort of, like, they would have had all the pieces of the puzzle at the beginning if they had Gideon's body and, like, a fresh Lichter process, but he was like, no, that can't happen, which he could have been lying, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's also weird that the wounds are still there if her soul's in the body, because, like, normally she regenerates very quickly, so it's, like, not a natural, like, it's not a
real revenant.
Yeah, is she actually anchored?
Or, sorry, No, so it's different than like, okay, it's not a resurrection, right?
No, it's
not a resurrection.
She has that weird friendship bracelet thing on, which I forgot to mention at one point.
Did we see that?
Yeah, she has like a...
Yeah, did we see that in Gideon the Ninth? Was that there before? I don't remember that bracelet being a thing.
So operating theory is maybe that it's not actually Gideon. I feel like it would be hard to make a revenant out of attaching it to like your old body, as maybe it's attached to the bracelet.
What we know from Dr. Sex is that it is actually easier, like revenants are going to come back and attach to an object that they have a connection to. And so you can
Body
kind
sounds
of
like
think,
a great idea.
Yeah, so you can kind of think of a lot of times, it's not often that bodies are going to remain incorruptible.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that you wouldn't necessarily see all the time, but you do see that Dr. Sex comes back to his own skeleton. So you do have a connection. So I don't think it's like so weird that Gideon's soul would attach to her body necessarily.
You're completely right. I think that it makes a lot of sense for her to come back and attach to her body. I really do think she describes herself as mega dead. And I do think there's a really interesting moment where I think it's Pyrrha who says, he brought you back like this. Like,
yeah.
At some point, you're like,
think about...
he's supposed to be able to resurrect people, and he brings her back in like the weirdest, most fucked up way. And I don't have an answer for that.
I think he could only get like part of the soul. Like I think that like if he could get the whole thing, he would have just done resurrection again.
Right, but we have this inherent problem of she's been at least partially entwined with Harrow's soul. At least. And maybe it's partly because I think Harrow's like is in her like own little river bubble. Maybe he doesn't have access to that.
Harrow's body still has like the crazy regeneration, right? With Gideon and Alecto's soul.
Let's talk about that.
So like that would make sense. Like they still have like the crazy regeneration of God's. So it's either Alecto's soul or Gideon's soul is still in Harrow enough to give it like the regeneration powers because it's doing the thing
that what that is?
Well, lictors can't regenerate limbs, right? Or like anything when they lose the nervous system connection, and they stick the whole hand in, it's fine. So it's got like
figure out why it had so much regeneration. You think it's because of Nona, whoever Nona is, the soul?
It's maybe Alecto, maybe part of Gideon. Maybe it's just like there's all Harrow souls in the body. Gideon, part of Gideon, and a part of Alecto are in Harrow's body. I don't know.
It's another soul swap.
Yep. Yeah.
Gideon, you think Harrow's soul is in the body in the tomb right now?
Yep.
They did a little swap. But like this timeline is like driving me nuts of like what happened in between there. Because I feel like this like, so God and Blood of Eden maybe met at some point in between in order for them to get Gideon's, no, it didn't have to be God. I mean, like, but like the house in Blood of Eden had to have met to get Gideon's body. Somehow Blood of Eden lost the body. What the fuck happened? Like, just like wild. We're just missing this huge fucking piece of plot.
I now have a theory. There's weird time shenanigans going on because Gideon's original body can't be damaged. They talk about how they like throw it in a river, it doesn't decompose, it doesn't do anything. But like you get this body back and there's the holes are still in it.
An extra wound.
Yeah. They can't damage the body. So there's is this where we're all going? Are we going into a weird time thing?
What do you mean?
Does God have actual time powers? Is that where we're going with this? Where there's like something around
that's been like sort of insinuated as I lie all the time. I don't have time powers.
Yeah. Like his way of reconstituting himself when he gets blown up is literally just like basically in reverse, right? Like he just like cranks back time 5 seconds.
Dear listener, something like I want to say a couple months before we started this podcast, John and I floated the idea of doing a podcast together called Flat Hills that I hope we'll one day actually come back to. And we spent so much time talking about time travel. That's all we did. We just talked about time travel. So what I'm hearing is that John is really, really desperate for this to become a time loop movie. And we can all cross our fingers. Alecto, time loop. Alecto, time loop. Okay.
Not necessarily a time loop, but like
no, I know you want an actual time travel.
We've gotten too many breadcrumbs around time, even in this chapter, right? Where Pal's like it's a lot longer for Pal fighting Ianthe inside Babs's head.
The idea was that was in the river, and river time travel is different.
The perception of time is weird.
Time in the river is a lot longer than time outside the river.
Also, one throwback that we didn't even talk about in here. Or not even going to say the throwback since it's like, have you guys seen the river recently, right? Like the river's apparently all kinds of fucked up at this point.
Yeah, Gideon says, have you not been in the river lately? And then they kind of leave that alone. Yeah. But it's like the implication is like...
something's happened. Well, in the river, theoretically, we should have, like, the RB right there.
Yeah. So nobody on this planet has been able to even attempt to go into the river, although none of them are. We've got all the Cavaliers, so yeah. That's we're calling a shot. There's some weird time shenanigans going on.
I'm so annoyed that, okay, so you think chime shenanigans as a very general and completely detailless point.
Well, okay. The way that Harrow kept the lictor powers, but sheltered Gideon's soul, again, calling the shot here, stuck her in a river bubble that was, like, possibly had some, like, necromantic books in there. Maybe she stuck her, like, in a river bubble that, like, had something, so that's why Gideon knows necromancy now, and I was also jaded and sad and annoyed because she's been stuck in, like, a river bubble.
But that's not what we saw in Harrow the Ninth, right?
Then pulling it out. I don't know.
Do you think this is post Harrow the Ninth?
I'm just spiraling at this point.
I love rampant speculation.
We don't fucking know, man. Yeah. What happens when Pal loses to Ianthe? This is, like, this weird looming thing that I can't, like, get over. I'm, like, very worried about it. Like, is Ianthe just gonna pop out at some given moment?
Yeah, he's contained her. So yeah, I guess it's like on his way out, he's gonna try to, like, force everything force his soul and Ianthe's soul out of Babs's body.
He's got like an hour. That's like not a ton of time.
Yeah, and then then he won't be able to go back to Cam, hypothetically, or he has to, like,
I don't know, or does he just like pop right back in? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm pretty nervous about that. Anyway, yeah, we don't know what's going on.
I'd like to share, dear listeners, that every time either one of our friends says I have a theory, what immediately plays in my head is the song I've Got a Theory from the Buffy musical episode. So we'll see if anything happens next time when John and Brooke seek out some old friends in Nona the Ninth Chapters 26, 27, and John 120.
And if you, dear listener, are like Brooke and me, reading along for the first time, make sure you find our reading calendar on our website, frontline5th.podbean.com, or follow us on Instagram or TikTok. And to support us, you can buy merch or join our Patreon, all of which are linked in the show notes. If you like this podcast, please share it with your friends and give us a 5-star rating, Judith, anywhere you can.
Judith Deuteros, just send us your address. I will send you so many stickers. We love you.
We have like 155 stars and 2 4-stars, and one of them is millennial coding, and the other one is Judith Deuteros. So we can't fix the millennial coding, but we can fix Judith Deuteros.
John really focuses in on flaws.
Analytics. He's into analytics. It's
anyway,
fine.
If you didn't like it, feel free to lie. Now head off to sleep, my baby necros. Mommy and Daddy have some deep spoilers to discuss.
Get in, losers. We're going speculating.
Act 5. Marry a moron, then die.
Warning, this portion of the podcast is 98% spoilers and like 2% sniggering.
Seriously, we will spoil anything and everything in the series up through Nona the Ninth, and if that's not what you want, turn back now.
Okay, I don't even know what to do with everything that they just said.
I think we just leave it alone.
Yeah. There was another something where they said, they're like, oh, I hope that doesn't happen. And you're like, Or they're like, is this like musical chairs? Like everybody's like swapping bodies? And I'm like, I don't know.
I did appreciate
Brooke saying, oh no, what's going to happen if Pal, like, it loses control of Babs's body? And I'm like, oh, just wait. You're going to be wrecked. You're going to be wrecked. It's going to be awful. Welcome.
I'm delighted. So next episode, we do not get Paul. We get Paul the episode after, I think. But it's going to be very, very interesting. And I was super impressed that Brooke remembered to actually think about the fact that, like, this is we're temporary. On a clock. Yeah, exactly. Something is going to happen next. There has to be something that happens next. And of course, they're both having fun with it. I do love John completely spiraling out about time travel. That was fascinating.
Oh, yeah. And then also completely forgetting anything that actually happened in the previous books. We're just like, it's fine. You'll listen back to this and be like, yeah, that was unhinged. Bad. It's fine. That's what we come for. That's why we enjoy it.
It's the rampant speculation. All right. Well, so I have a couple things that I want to talk to you about, and some of them we maybe don't need to like go all the way into. One of the big ones is soul theory. There's actually like a lot of little details about souls in these chapters. So Pyrrha says the soul longs for the body, even a fucked up soul that's been changed forever. And that, to me, I like started freaking out about Pyrrha, because what are the implications there for Pyrrha's soul, who have been separated from Pyrrha's body for 10,000 years, right?
Well, there's the implication that if they kept Babs's body, then did they keep all of the Cavaliers' bodies somewhere? But
They
then
have that,
also,
like,
where would
weird
they have kept
crypt.
them?
On the Mithraeum, there's like the weird spot where they keep
But the
Kithraea's
Mithraeum's
body.
gone.
True. But also, I don't think they had the bodies there. And so there is also this thing, presumably, they all were exploded in the nuclear war, ? Like, how many of these bodies existed? How many bodies did Jod make from scratch?
Well, the only one that would have been like exploded probably, other than just like die from fallout or other things, is Gideon's, because Gideon was ground zero.
So then you have Pyrrha's soul has been living in a body that wasn't originally someone else's body because it was created by Jod out of an arm. So it also has this like, is it better to live there? Was that a more okay situation? To what degree I don't know. It was just really fascinating for me for Pyrrha, who has a really complex personality, clearly has much of her soul intact, but has been living outside of her body for 10,000 years. And it also made me wonder about what kinds of things might happen if Alecto actually ends up in proximity to Earth.
But I think this goes back to what RBs actually are. And RBs are revenants, and they're like what Gideon is. Because you have in here Anastasia's tripod theory, where you have to have three things. You have to have the body, you have to have the soul, and you have to have thalargy. And the problem with the resurrection beasts is that they have a body and they have a soul and they don't have thalargy.
Got it. So it really is, we're talking about, it's the difference between revenant and resurrection, right?
Yes. And if you brought Alecto back to Earth and attached that soul to Earth, you would have the sort of thing that you have with Gideon, because there's no thalargy there.
But
and that's why they're like, they were so going off of that. Well, they were so going off of the fact that her wounds aren't like re-healing or whatever. They're like, but you put the soul there. And it's like, no, that's the tripod theory. There is no thalargy. That is why it is a revenant. It is still a dead fucking body.
Yes.
Mega dead. As Curiona says. It is mega dead body with a soul attached to it. And that is not a thing. And she says like the reverse, where you have thalargy, but thalargy in the body, but no soul, you is essentially just a weird vegetable. Which is essentially what Ulysses and Titania are. Yeah, which is an unfortunate term, but it's also like talking about like when, you know, like I think it brings up kind of interesting things in our kind of like modern world of like, when is a person still there, and when is it just a body that is alive? Yes, 100%. I think it's a really, really interesting question. So to me, this suggests that Palamedes and Camilla had this theory that if they brought, let's imagine that Nona had been Gideon in Hero's body, that if they brought them into proximity with Gideon's body, there would be this pneumatic reversion and the soul would snap back in. But potentially that's not true. Potentially that's not a thing, because once you're dead, once that body is dead and has no thalargy, it's really not the same thing. Yeah, I think that I don't think that it would happen. I think it would be hard, because it's kind of like think about how many things right now are running around as revenants, because Pal is a revenant with a body that has no thalargy. And that might actually be part of why he can't do necromancy very well, but it probably has more to do with the fact that he is just kind of too far removed of like he has no one of the reasons that he could do one of the reasons he could do necromancy in Cam was simply because they had a connection. And one of the reasons that Ianthe could do necromancy in Babs is because that's her cavalier. She basically has rights to that body. There's a lot here. Thank you for this, because this was exactly what I wanted to talk about. I think it's really quite complex. What is counting as alive? What's counting as dead? And what we can actually get done with souls. And one of the things that they kind of brought up in their rampant speculation was this question of to what degree can souls be diminished? To what degree can souls be split? And that's something we get to debate really interestingly in The Unwanted Guest. So I'm looking forward to talking about that more. I like the way that you like kind of hinted at that. You're like, can they be diminished? Can they be split? Can they be it's entirely academic. Changed somehow? Like, it's just like, this is just a question I'm asking. Okay, so kind of going along with some of the things we're talking about here, I really do want to talk about Gideon's body. So there's like this debate that goes on about whether or not you can sense God's work. Like Pyrrha basically says that, let me see if I have it. God's aptitude is like a punch in the nose, right? And that's like what Palamedes is feeling. But Crown, because she is way smarter than anyone gives her credit for, people push her to the background. But Corona says, no, she was incorruptible back when Blood of Eden had her, before God ever got to her. So there's still something weird about that. And I wonder if that contributes in some way to what she's been made into now, that her body is weird and unusual.
I also think that part of the reason
Probably.
that he didn't bring back Gideon all the way, I think it's partially about the math that we talked about, that you can't bring someone back with just one soul, that resurrection is actually, you got to put a lot more energy in.
He's only ever done resurrection once.
Yeah. Just that first
And
time
so
around.
he can't do resurrection. He actually isn't powerful enough to do resurrection. The only thing that he can do is this revenant thing, which I think is interesting. I don't know like what Pyrrha is saying of like he brought you back like this, is her being shocked that he didn't try to do a resurrection and she doesn't really realize that he can't, or if it's just kind of a disgust of like, this is a fate worse than death.
Yeah, honestly, either, both. It does seem pretty fucking bleak. I mean, I think, so let's not get into the Kirona Gideon debate today, but I think it's really complicated and tragic. There's this really sad moment where Gideon shoves Camilla away the second she gets touched. And I don't think she touches anyone else in this whole book. And it just made me sad, this thing of never being touched. Okay, you looked like you had an understanding of what was going on with her wounds. She has 2 wounds. One of them for sure is from landing on a spike when she kills herself in order to give Harrow, lictor powers. And that one to me is the one that has teeth. And I think those are legit teeth. I think we're getting some devil shit energy in there. And then she has a wound at her throat. And what do you think?
I think the way that Pal says the wounds are consistent, that the way that she threw herself on the spikes is that it caused, like she basically impaled herself in both.
Okay.
And that they are both puncture, because it's talked about as a puncture wound.
Yes. Yeah.
I also don't remember. I feel like I was kind of paying attention to this when we were like reading the fight in Gideon. And there might be a point where she does get kind of stabbed in the neck, but I don't think so. I think that it is like her throwing herself on the fence leads to both of those.
Okay.
And we can go and like double check ourselves after this maybe. But I think that I don't think that it's like kind of like, where did the wound come from? I think that those are the wounds that killed her. And like that is obvious. And I think the teeth thing could go either way, because I think that it could just be that Tamsin is using that imagery as imagery and not as like explicitly they are actually teeth, but just to make you think of the stoma and the devil's eyes when they possess people, but it could just literally be that you can see her ribs. So I think it could go either way, and I don't think it's explicit.
I have been burned so many times by thinking things are metaphors that I'm all in on the like literal. I think that there are teeth. I think that some sort of like encroachment on this incorruptibility, that there is something leaking through to some degree. But we will find out eventually, and I'm disturbed and excited. The last thing I want to talk about is this thing at the bottom I have about the river. So in order to travel here, Ianthe in her shuttle in Babs's body dropped through the river with Gideon in Gideon's body. Pyrrha thinks this is impossible, right? So, and says that you shouldn't be able to do it without John there. Does this undermine the idea that Jod is actually necessary? Or does it reinforce that Gideon is special? Or is it connected directly to the next statement where Gideon says, you haven't been in the river lately, have you? Which clearly is about the tower. It makes me wonder if the ghosts are gone. Like, is the reason that you can't travel through the river just that you're going to get eaten by ghosts? Or is it that it's lava? And either way, why is Gideon okay to travel through it?
I think that it is, I just got distracted by the difference between lava and magma. And I was going to be a pedant and be like, it's not actually lava.
It's actually magma.
It's actually magma. So excuse me for that.
Thank you.
So
no, I
sorry.
appreciate that. I'm the person who does that with concrete and cement. So I hear you.
Oh, wait, which one's what? Oh, cement is you have to put things together, and concrete is when you're using it as a building material itself.
Yeah, concrete is when it's actually like a physical hard
A slab.
Yeah, exactly.
But cement is like when it's like mortar, or is cement when it's liquid?
I think cement is both the powder, and once you mix it with water to make a liquid, it is the liquid. And concrete is the final solid form. Damn, now
Excellent.
we're
There
wrong.
have been. Okay, well, stay tuned. We'll find out.
Tell me about the river.
I think that this statement is that you can't bring ordinary people through the river because they can't hold their soul to their body, and the ghosts will come and eat them, and lictors can keep the ghosts away. And so it shouldn't be possible for a non-lictor to protect themselves through the river without somebody as powerful as John to protect them. Like, even a lictor couldn't protect them. However, the protection is now unnecessary. That is the way that I read it.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing I think about is that when Nona is actually driving the mega truck through the river, she's not driving it through the river. She's driving it over the surface, which I thought was kind of fascinating. And I don't know if that's like if surface travel is a thing now, or if that's, neither here nor there. But clearly something about the river, I think you're right, that the danger is not there anymore in quite the same way.
Yeah.
And cement is the actual powder, and concrete is a composite made of the powder and water and crumbles of other shit. Sand, gravel.
Oh,
you're welcome.
Okay.
That's all I have. Act 6. See you next time, my little nunlets. Well, it looks like we've got a convoy to find, so we'll be back next week to run through Nona the Ninth Chapters 26, 27, and John 120. If you want to follow along with us, our reading calendar is available on our website at frontlinefifth.podbean.com, and you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok, which are linked in the show notes. If you enjoy this podcast, please tell your friends and give us a 5-star rating, or frankly a 4-star rating. I think it's so funny that John is so caught on this, and Judith Deuteros defender, I'll defend you. But of course, if you didn't enjoy the podcast, feel free to lie. We have a Patreon, which you can join for access to bonus content every month. You can become a patron, and all the corpses they kiss come right back to life at patreon.com/frontlinefifth. And you can check out our merch at our Redbubble store. I highly recommend it. Our merch is rad. Linked in the show notes. Finally, if you have any fun theories you'd like to share with us, feel free to email us at frontlinefifth@gmail.com. And with that, I'll just remind you not to unlock any tombs or enter any doors without permission because, ghosts. Bye.
Frontline Fifth is a Locked Tomb podcast conceived by Maria Adamako and starring Maria Adamako, Hannah Grenwald, Brooke Anderson, and John Ryan. Our cover art was designed and created by Maria Adamako, who also edited this episode. Our fabulous music was composed and re-recorded by Blake Anderson. Hannah Grenwald designs are Curler March hot, gorgeous. The Locked Tomb series is a completely dope-ass big series by Tom Samir, who does not know we exist and is no way affiliated with this podcast.